Hello everybody, this is Rashid Mahmood and today we're going to discuss a very important task in PTE, which is the first task that you come across when your test starts, which is read aloud. It's a very important task. Why I call it important? Because it carries lots of marks. As you might be aware that in PTE there are different tasks which carry different weight. And this task in PTE carries more marks than any other task in the speaking section. And it not only affects the score of the speaking, it also affects the reading section too. So you really need to be able to get good marks in this section, in this particular task, to get overall better score. And if you fail to get score in this particular task, it is really going to pull down the score in overall speaking as well as reading section. So in this video, I'm going to tell you how you can get the maximum marks by focusing the content and clear pronunciation, and what are the tips that if you're struggling with your pronunciation, how you can still carry good marks out of this particular read aloud section. So let's get started. So first things first, let me tell you the basic format of this test. You will get about 6 to 7 items in total, and then the score that it will affect for the speaking is 33%, and for reading you'll get 27% for this task. So this means that this task affects, as I said earlier, affects your speaking as well as reading sections. So then you get 35 seconds to prepare yourself and then 40 seconds to prepare the task. So what happens is the task will be presented to you in this manner. There will be a text of up to 60 words, and then you will have to read this text. The time that is given to you is given over here, as you can see here. And once the 35 seconds are over, you have to quickly start speaking. But the important thing is that as soon as the mic opens, you have to start speaking, because if you do not speak for the first 3 seconds, the recording will stop and the computer will take you to the next task. So you have to start speaking right away as soon as the mic opens. And when your task is completed, you have to press the button like done over here. There will be a button over here with the sign of mic. You have to press it to complete your task. Now let us talk about how this particular task is scored. The very first thing is content. Now, content means that the words which are appearing on the screen, these words, this text, it forms the content. If you are not able to complete this content, you will be losing marks. The second thing is oral fluency. It means how accurately and how clearly, with the right rhythm, you are able to speak and read out whatever the text is given to you on the screen. And the third thing is pronunciation. Of course, pronunciation is very important. Each word that is presented to you, you have to pronounce it in a clear way, so the computer is able to record and give you the marks. Now, this was something about the basics of what exactly this task is about. Let's get into the tips. What are the tips with which you can get very good marks in this particular task? So the first tip is that you have to use the preparation time. It's so crucial. So many people ignore it, and during this time they are just looking at the text silently. They don't speak it aloud, they don't read it aloud, and it's really a waste of time. So what you should do is the moment text appears in front of you, so what happens is you are given some time to prepare. It is going to be about 35 seconds. So what happened during this time is that instead of just reading those words silently in your mind, you should start speaking aloud. That is the time that there's no recording going on. The mic is closed, so whatever you are saying is not being heard by the computer. It's not being recorded. So this is the time that you should read it loud. The purpose is that you need to identify the words which you think that when you actually start speaking, you will struggle with, and you don't know until you speak them aloud. So what happens is the moment the text appears in front of you, start reading it aloud for yourself and check it out which are the words that you're going to struggle with, and then repeat them 2 or 3 times until you finish it and until you are able to 100% pronounce them accurately. So this is very important. For example, here's a task that is in front of us. So what I would do is, when there is a preparation time, I would just quickly read it aloud like this. In Germany, over 100,000 times the diapers are discarded. Let's say I'm getting stuck at discarded, so I would just read it aloud, discarded for myself, because right now the mic is not listening. Anything is not being recorded, so you can say whatever you want to say. You want to repeat it to yourself, no problem with that. Let's move on. Resulting in the wastage of valuable resources, diaper liners, which contain. So as soon as the text is there, get started, start speaking it aloud to identify the problematic words. And then the second tip is that speak at your natural speed. So many people think that speaking quickly is required in PTE, but that's not the case. Whatever your natural speed is, you need to go with that speed, because if you're trying to speak too fast, you might not be able to pronounce the words accurately. As I discussed right now, that pronunciation is very important, because if you're not able to pronounce the words accurately, it's going to affect your score of the content too, because the computer will not be able to recognize your whatever the words you're speaking. So you're losing marks, and not only for the content but also for the pronunciation. So go at your natural rhythm. For example, let me read it so that you can check it out, what exactly could be the natural rhythm. In Germany, over 100,000 tons of diapers are discarded each year, resulting in the wastage of valuable resources. Diaper liners, which contain special polymers known as superabsorbers, are among. So this is this is my way of speaking. Your speed could be slightly more than this or slightly less than this, but it doesn't matter. Your speed has to be natural. But you shouldn't speak too slow, because if speaking too slow, you're going to lose marks for the fluency. You have to speak at a pace which is natural, which is good, which is at good rhythm. And then the next thing is that you have to complete the content. You are not supposed to skip lots of words. Skipping a few words is fine. For example, they are adjusted to 1 or 2 words that you're not able to speak them correctly, but at that place you should prioritize fluency, because fluency is more important than completing every word, completing every content that's given to you on the screen. So if you think there are 1 or 2 words and you're not able to pronounce, for example, let's look at this task. That super absorbers is a difficult word over here, and then there's another word, polymers, let us say, you're not able to pronounce it correctly, and then substantial. So instead of getting stuck over there, for example, some people might say known as super absorbers. So what you're doing is that you are, for the sake of one word, speaking it accurately, you're compromising your fluency and you're losing lots of marks. So it's better to skip this word and go on and give priority to the fluency, because fluency is important. And the next thing is you can skip a few words. As I said, that skipping a few words is fine, but you should not skip a lot of words, because you will be losing marks for the accent. Is not very important in PTE read aloud test. It is better that you just focus on simple and clear pronunciation, because pronunciation is far more important than accent. So try to speak whatever accent you are and focus more on clear words, clear pronunciation, because that's really important. And the next tip is don't correct yourself. Even sometimes happens there are words that you actually can clearly speak, but when you start speaking that you fumble, they may be fumbling, you may get stuck at particular words. Don't correct yourself, keep going. You're going to lose marks for a little bit, 1 or 2 words content, but overall you'll be getting more marks. So don't go back and repeat yourself. Okay, the next thing is pay attention to the punctuation. As we can see over here, as we can see on this text, can you mark over here, we have this comma here, and then there's a comma here again, and then there's a full stop coming at the end of the sentence. Punctuation is very important. You don't have to speak the whole text at the same speed. You have to give pauses and bring in pauses which are there. If you don't bring in pauses, you're going to lose marks, because in our everyday life, at the end of a sentence, we have to pause, and there are natural pauses, and the same natural pauses have to be reflected in this read aloud section as well. So for example, in Germany, after there has to be a pause. In Germany, over 100,000 tons of diapers are discarded each year, resulting in the wastage of valuable resources. Now, if you don't bring in the pauses, this is how it is going to sound like. It will be unnatural and you will lose marks. For example, in Germany, over 100 tons of diapers are discarded each year, resulting in the wastage of valuable resources. No, this is not the way you got to speak. You have to bring in the pauses so that it's looking natural. Let's look at the next sentence. Diaper liners, then again there is a pause. I will be pausing over here and see that it will look natural. Diaper liners, which contain special polymers known as superabsorbers, are among the materials that end up in landfills. However, researchers have made significant progress in enhancing recycling process for these liners, leading to substantial improvements. So there are commas where I am giving a brief pause, but when there is a full stop, I'm bringing in a little longer pause to show what exactly is the punctuation mark given over there. So I have to respect these punctuation marks to sound more natural. And the last thing is practice. Of course, without practice, you won't be able to improve. Practice is very important. When you're listening to these tips, it might appear okay, these things are okay, you would be able to do it over there in the exam. But don't just trust these theories. Theories are there, but you really need to put these theories into the practice to be able to fully perform at the optimal level and get the score that you deserve. Hopefully you're going to follow these tips and you'll be able to perform well. So let's have a little quick recap. You really have to work on the content, give the complete content that's given in the text, and plus use preparation time very well. Because during that time you can identify the words which you are struggling with, and then you can check it out and how you can pronounce it accurately. And then you have to focus on your clear pronunciation. Do not use a lot of strange accent. It is better to go with your natural accent. And then do not try to correct yourself. It is better to just keep going on. There are a few words, if you're just able to skip them, no problem with that. You will still be able to get good marks. But fluency is the most important thing. You have to speak very confidently, because little pauses, the computer will be able to identify those pauses, and you will be losing marks. And then practice, as I said, throw away the clock in the beginning. Don't worry about a 35-second preparation time. Just practice. And plus, do not speak very fast, because that's not required over there. Speaking too fast, you will be compromising the content, and speaking too slow, you will be compromising on fluency. So you need to find the natural right rhythm where you can easily pronounce all the words, but at the same time complete the content. And hopefully when you follow this video, when you follow the tips that I have given to you, you will be able to get the maximum score. And plus, if there is any other tip that you are following and getting very good score at this section, please leave them in the comment. Thank you very much. Goodbye.